Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. It's a new prescription for a new you, America. It's about health. It's about wellness. It's about going to the next level in your health and in your life. That's what the show's about, and we're going to kick it off with Shonda. Hi, Shonda.
Hi, how are you?
Living well, darling.
Great. I just want to let you know that I really enjoy your show, and you provide a great service to everyone. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks, darling. You're welcome. How can I help? What's up?
Well, it seems as if I have a boil that's between my cheekbone and my nose, and I was wondering, first of all, where do boils come from, and second of all, what can I do about it?
And where is it located?
It's right between my nose and my cheek. It's not on the outside. It seems like it's on the inside. It's not external. It's internal.
Is it real sore?
Yeah, it's a little sore.
Yeah, it could be a little it just could be formed by a little bacteria.
Okay.
And that's pretty common. Staph hangs out in there too. So it's not like a staph infection. It's just like more of a staphylococcus bacteria. And not a big deal. I mean, do you get them all the time? Does it come and go?
Well, no, actually, I hadn't gotten one in a long time. I'd say probably about 5 or 6 years, but it just seemed like this came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they can. Nothing too much to worry about. I mean, for the most part, they'll typically go away, resolve. But what you don't want to do is irritate it, pick at it, that kind of thing. Just really try to leave it alone. Because there's so much bacteria underneath your fingernails, just naturally. That's just where a lot of it hides. And if you get in there and start kind of messing with it, sometimes they can get infected, and that's when it becomes a big mess. So you want to steer clear of that as much as possible. But as far as just is it real big or just kind of small, like a BB size?
Yeah, it's kind of small.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, If it gets red and it really starts hurting a lot, probably want to go see your doctor for sure and just let him take a look at it. The big thing you have to worry about with those is if it gets infected. That's the big challenge. And, for the most part, those tend to resolve on their own. But if it sticks around longer than, they always say, just so you know, rule of thumb, a lot of docs will say if it sticks around longer than 2 weeks, then you need to get it checked out to get something done, So just keep that in mind, okay? Thanks for the call. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Questions about your health. Let's go to Jake. Hi, Jake.
Doctor, thank you. 70-year-old diabetic with ED, and my body does not produce semen. Well, for several years I was on oral medication, which I had a lot of ups and downs, but a new doctor gave me, I'm taking 26 units of Lantus as a base every day and 5 units plus of Novolog.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, when you're dealing with diabetes, you're dealing with, ED or erectile dysfunction, a couple things to think about that are really, really important. Okay. Now, first, you've got to get your diet under control. That has to be a key. So you start eating the right kind of foods, proteins, fats, carbohydrates in balance, especially the proteins and the fats, because when you're dealing with a blood sugar condition like diabetes, you want to keep everything balanced so your weight stays under control, your fitness levels will stay high. If you start exercising, so at least 4 to 5 days a week is usually recommended just for a good lifestyle plan. That's critical. Now, on the flip side, if you're talking about ED, it depends. They really do go hand in hand. And if you've got any type of blood sugar-related issue, sometimes it can affect kind of your performance, for sure. A couple things to think about, though, while you're going through this is as your fitness level improves, okay, so you start dropping belly fat, you get in shape, cardiovascular shape increases, then the blood flow is going to increase as well. Now, from a chemical perspective, you can get some blood work done with your primary care doctor, and they can take a look at things and many times can look and find certain reasons why maybe some of the performance is lacking, okay? So there's some tests and things that they can do. Also, from a nutritional perspective, you can look at things like nitric oxide, which combine together. Okay, so you got L-arginine, L-citrulline. Both of those together form the NO2. They've done numerous studies on that and have seen some just amazing results with guys that deal with that. And I'll tell you kind of an old school treatment that doctors have used for years is coffee, believe it or not, and caffeine and high amounts of caffeine from like green tea and that sort of thing. Caffeine is in the same category, drug class category, as a phosphodiesterase inhibitor. And so those are your Cialis and your Viagra and those sorts of things. So it's in the same category. And believe it or not, guys that drink, and this is not a free ticket to start drinking pots of coffee so you have better performance, but it does do a similar mechanism. I mean, obviously it's in the same class, so it can help. But anyway, a couple things to think about. It's about getting your good foundation, though. Don't think it's just one thing or taking a supplement like Tribulus or maca root, and that's going to just kind of correct everything. It's really not. It's a combination. And your mind plays a big role, too. With ED, huge issue in your mind. So as you get your mind to relax and you remove stressors from your life, then that can make a huge difference in overall performance. Okay, so just a couple things. But the diabetes, that's a big one. Get that under control, start making some radical changes, and then you'll probably notice some great changes. Okay, thanks for the call. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. You can give me a call right now, or you can go online. Why? Because we want to see you get well. That's the truth. And it starts in your mind. Everybody thinks it starts with a pill, but it actually starts in your mind. That's where some of the greatest victories happen, especially with your health. Yosemite officials, they're saying they're informing another 230,000 summer visitors of a hantavirus outbreak. Officials at Yosemite National Park told another 230,000 people who visited the park last summer about a hantavirus outbreak that occurred there in June. But according to the LA Times, those who were sent the informational letter via email on Wednesday did not stay in the area of the park where the outbreak was reported, but park officials wanted to quell the fears of any concerned guest. So thousands of letters have already been sent to visitors who did stay in the affected area in tent cabins in Curry Village in the High Sierra Loop. According to the newspaper, the new letter tells recipients that your recent overnight visit to Yosemite did not include a stay in lodging where the known hantavirus infections might have occurred. However, we wanted to take this opportunity to increase public awareness about the hantavirus. Nevertheless, we want to ensure that our guests have accurate and current information on the hantavirus. So hantavirus can take up to 6 weeks to surface with symptoms and spreads through the urine, droppings, or saliva. Something to think about. It's been kind of a hot topic, but over there in Yosemite, beautiful area. Just a little FYI.
If you're looking for increased strength, increased endurance, and better recovery, then look no further than an all-natural nutritional supplement called creatine hydrochloride. Concrete is the brand, and it's the most absorbable form of creatine hydrochloride found today. Now, creatine is not just for athletes. You probably heard that before, but creatine hydrochloride is for the everyday person looking to improve their health. Listen, I started taking creatine in college when I was a strength and conditioning coach at Florida State University. And I've taken it ever since my college years. And it's made a massive difference in my life. Everything in my body, I believe, is functioning better because of creatine. Creatine hydrochloride I've moved over to using Concrete, and it is the best form of creatine on the market. Concrete creatine hydrochloride is available at most Walmart stores and on Walmart.com or any store that carries nutritional supplements. Just make sure to look for Concrete brand creatine hydrochloride and watch your endurance, your strength, and your recovery and your immune system get boosted today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. This is your show. It's the show where your health is your wealth. We're going to go to Ann. Hi, Ann.
Well, I'm actually calling about my husband. Ever since we've been married, he has had really bad indigestion. Sometimes it will keep him awake at night. He doesn't get a restful sleep. He's in really good health. Exercises regularly, and I try to make sure that we have balanced meals with plenty of, fruits and vegetables and things like that. But I'm just wondering, it seems like he has a hard time just processing food in general. So I'm not sure just kind of what we could do about that. One thing, too, about him, he gets really anxious while he's eating.
I think the biggest issue when you're having chronic digestive issues, it just becomes a real challenge. You got to kind of back it off and just kind of start from scratch. And I like, I'm not an extremist by any means when it comes to eating. I think that you need to have good, healthy foods. I think that there are certain principles to follow. You want to reduce inflammation as much as possible. But at the same time, building a good bacterial flora with fermented foods, fermented vegetables, with things like probiotics, those are all really important and just kind of basic, but very, very simple to do. You just got to kind of get a game plan. Now, other issue that's very important too in this with the digestion is making sure the body that he breaks things down. A lot of times if you don't break your proteins down well, as you get older and stress levels get higher, we start losing our hydrochloric acid a little bit in our stomach, which helps break the proteins down. And if you don't break them down, they can kind of putrefy, and that's where you get a lot of the gas and the odor that comes along with that. I know that's real pleasant to talk about, but it's the truth, and it makes a big difference. So digestive enzymes, betaine hydrochloride, which is called HCl or betaine HCl, if you go to a health food store and ask them that, those are great. I mean, they both can help tremendously. There's also what are called proteolytic enzymes. Now, these proteolytic enzymes are found primarily in foods like pineapple. You may have heard of bromelain, which is a big one. But yeah, I mean, that helps tremendously, breaking down the foods and increasing digestion. I mean, when you eat a meal, for the most part, you shouldn't be gassy and bloated. Now, if he's like that all the time, he may even want to back it down kind of another notch or another level. Go meet with maybe a doctor, someone, a nutritionist that can kind of walk him through maybe some form of cleansing time, as far as cutting his foods back in a certain way, going really bland, maybe even using some different juicing methods and that sort of thing. And what it'll do is it clears out the digestive tract very well. If he's got any kind of yeast or fungal-related infection that might be in the gut, there are things like oregano oil and black walnut and wormwood, things that can kind of clear some of those issues out as well. So, I mean, it just depends. And that's why you might want to get someone involved. Rather than just kind of talking about it, you really can get in and find out, or get someone to dig in and find out exactly what's happening. So just a thought as you're going through that. But yeah, I mean, digestion is a big deal. Probiotics are one of the best things you can do as far as the supplement goes, and getting it from the food supply, from the fermented dairy, goat's milk, goat's yogurt, kefir, that kind of thing. Makes a big deal. So keep me posted how that goes. Check us out online. Send me an email. I'll make it part of the show, or you can, of course, call right now, 888-283-7272. Annette, you're next with us. How can I help?
Hey. I am very overweight, and in June I bought your book, and I started changing what I ate, and I started walking every day.
Good for you.
At least 6 days a week. Yeah, and I feel unbelievably better.
I'm so glad.
I do. I really do. And so I'm just determined to stay with it and, just keep on, because I want to live and, enjoy things. Okay, but I've run into a problem of late, and I don't really know what to do about it. It doesn't happen all the time. It's real random. But sometimes when I have to sit for a long period of time and then I get up, the inside of my leg, it is very, very painful. And so I stand up, and I kind of grit my teeth and kind of just start walking around. And after a few minutes, I can kind of walk it out. It's still, I feel it, but it's not as severe. And so my question is, if I've described it well enough, I mean, is there something I should do for this, or will it kind of work itself out as my weight goes down?
Is it only in that one area?
Yeah, it's just on the left leg, just in that, one place. It kind of goes down my leg, but not as far as to where my knee is. It's just, right up top there.
Does it shoot, or is it like a numb type pain, stabbing? or prickly? What's the pain like?
No, when I'm seated and I'm fine. And then I stand up, and the minute I put my weight evenly, it's like, oh, and I kind of have to,
Right.
I can't take a step without sort of working it out.
I would go see either a physical therapist or a chiropractic physician and let them work on it, because it's probably just a nerve that's got some irritation. It could be your sciatic nerve. Your sciatic nerve is really, really big. I mean, it's probably about the size. Just to give you an example, have you ever seen the big thick pieces of string cheese? It's about that big around. So it's a big nerve, largest one in the body, and it goes through the piriformis muscle, this little muscle kind of in your glutes. And if it gets irritated at all, or that little muscle that goes in spasm, it feels exactly like what you're talking about. It kind of goes down in that area, down to the side, down the leg a little bit, and you have to kind of work it out a little before you can actually get moving. So if a PT or a DC, a chiropractic physician, they're really good at some of the techniques they have to work on that, relieving not just the pain, but putting the structure back where it needs to be. So just losing the weight won't make that go away. It's probably an issue that's been there for a while, but now it's getting irritated. And more than ever, now's the time to get it done, and then to get it checked up probably at least once a month minimum, to make sure that as you're exercising and doing what you do, and as your body's kind of shrinking down now, that your structure stays in line, and you can maintain that to a great level. So that's just a couple things to think about for that. But I'm so excited for you. Just way to jump in with both feet and make it happen. We're here for you along the way. Call anytime. 888-283-7272. You're listening to Healthy Talk Radio.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to AsaRx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. This is your show. It's the show. Health is your greatest wealth. Family health insurance plans are saying now are to jump 4%. Well, that's exactly what we all need, isn't it? U.S. families are paying 4% more in annual premiums for their employer-sponsored family health coverage right now, and now they're about ready to jump up again. So they're reaching about $15,000 annually in 2012, with workers contributing on average $4,000 toward their coverage, revealed in a national survey recently by Kaiser. The Family Foundation Health Research and Educational Trust says that worker-only health coverage rose 3% to $5,000 a year. These workers pay on average about $950 toward their coverage. Meanwhile, wages have grown just about 1.7%, noted a Kaiser News release. So look at the inflation on the insurance versus what the wages are doing. So the 14th annual survey involved more than 2,000 small and large employers. It found a big discrepancy in the benefits and contributions of companies, with many lower wage workers earning more than $24,000 a year compared to companies with many higher paid employees making around $55,000 a year. Employees at a lower wage firm on average contributed about $5,000 each year to their families. So health insurance is changing. And I know that everybody's kind of thinking, they're like, where's it going to go? What's it going to do? But it's definitely not going to be easier. Everybody thinks it is, but you might want to be careful. Look at the fine print as we turn into this next year. It's going to be incredible, I think. Something to keep your eye on. Now, the Affordable Care Act, of course, has got kind of its good and bad clauses to it. But they're saying that a number of companies offering health benefits to their employees has not changed but about 61%. Copays for covered workers on average has changed a little bit, but a summary of this report and commentary was published recently in the Journal of Health Affairs. So if you want to get any more details on that, you might want to check it out just to see what are going to happen to the rates and how the premiums are going to change, and also your copays might be affected by some of these changes. I mean, we're in a place right now where whole game plan is really up for grabs. I know a lot of doctors are definitely not fired up about it for what it's going to do to their reimbursements and getting their money from insurances. So it's going to be a challenging piece. I can tell you that. Let's go to Shane. Hi, Shane. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Hey, I got your book, and I've been kind of following your protocols and everything. And last fall, I kind of got onto the probiotics and HCL and cod liver oil. But I got kind of a throat congestion. I couldn't get it clear out. I thought I had a cold, and went to my doctor, and he didn't know how to treat it. And I went to another doctor at a med station, an older guy who worked ER at a hospital. He's retired and he works at the med station. He put me on Gaviscon and antacid. Thought I had acid reflux. That didn't make any difference. And he suggested I go to a GI specialist. So I made an appointment with him and kind of told him what I was doing. And he was didn't like the idea of me taking the HCL, hydrochloric acid. And he says, let me take a look. So he went down with a scope like the next week. And he said I have scar tissue on my esophagus where it goes into the stomach. And he had to stretch that open. Yeah, it was had a small opening, like 12 centimeters. He had to stretch it open 17.5 centimeters. And then he put me on an acid called Zigared with Oprazol in it. And he wants me to take that the rest of my life in a bland diet. I don't know what to do. You know, at first he said it was Bear's disease, but he said, no, you just actually got scar tissue buildup in the esophagus. And I'm just wondering, something other I can take than that Zigared to get off that? Is there something natural? Or?
I mean, there's a lot of things that are natural along those lines, but you don't really want, if he has you on that right now after that procedure, you probably want to hang tight. It's good wisdom to stick in there with what he has you doing. I mean, he's got a reason for that. And if he's gone that far to scope you and see everything going on, yeah, it's probably good to stick on the game plan that he has you on. And just by doing that, you know, it's going to keep you in a good place. And then maybe after a while, 6 months or so in, see how your body's doing, see how you're feeling, see if you're dealing with any kind of reflux or anything like that. And then just mention it to him. Just say, you know, you'd like to do some things a little bit along or more along the natural lines, and would he be okay with it? Would he support you in it? Would he kind of oversee you in it, using things like apple cider vinegar and whatnot? But, you know, if you had too much acid coming up, then you're too acidic. You got to look into things like glutamine powder, aloe vera, things that will kind of hold down a lot of those issues. And that's probably what kind of along the lines you want to think. But, yeah, I mean, I would stick with what he has. You're asking my thoughts, that's what I would do. And you know me, I mean, I'm always going to lean, for the most part, toward the natural side of things. I'm more of a lifestyle kind of guy. But medicine has its place. I mean, this is one of the things where you don't want to mess around with it. You want to keep things where it needs to be, because scar tissue can lead to Barrett's. And when you get Barrett's, you know, the potential for it turning into cancer cells is pretty strong. So when you get that changing of the cell structure, not a good deal, okay? So I'd stick with what they're telling you if you're asking me. You know, are there other things you can do? Yeah, but now's probably not the time. I want to hang in there for a little bit, and then you can come up with another game plan later. All right, 888-283-7272 is the phone number. Go online, getwellradio.com, Facebook and Twitter as well. Get into the social media side. You can check that out as well, because, of course, you get involved, and we'll keep you all up to date on everything coming down the pipeline, especially some of our live events and seminars that are right around the corner. We've got one coming up, and we'll keep you posted on that. You can find more at the website. Let's go to Eric now. Hi, Eric.
Hey, I'm 72 years old, and for the last 12 years I've had PSA tests for about every 6 months, and I've never tested in the normal range of 0 to 4. I've had biopsies in 2003 and in 2007, and there were small pot spikes in the tests. but I tended to be in the range of from 4.7 to 5.9, 5.7, 5.1 in that area. This year I had a CAT scan that was only 3 weeks after my current urology visit, where they told me I was fine, where they showed that there were nodules on my prostate which appeared to be malignant. So I went in and they had this new test called the PCA3, and it's where they basically milk your prostate with you having a full bladder, and then you urinate, and that fluid comes out in your urine, and they do a urine test. And mine came back positive for prostate cancer. So I've got a two-pronged question with that, and one is all that cancerous fluid now floating around in those punctures they made for the biopsy, which may be increasing the chances of prostate cancer, even though it may not be there now? And the second question is, with the PSA and the PCA3 being so useless and the trend of the PCA being useless, what kind of testing in the future can I look to for being helpful?
Well, I think one thing to look at, for the most part, with the biopsies that they do, there's a big controversy on if you do the biopsy, do you free up more cancer cells like you're talking about and kind of spread them where they don't really need to go when they were contained inside of a mass. There's not a lot of research around it that supports that really does happen. So I don't want to tell you that it doesn't happen, because I've seen some research behind that, kind of like what you're talking about. So I'm kind of in the middle, because your standard medical research, which is what everybody goes by anyways, says that it doesn't, that it's okay, right? But then you got research out in Europe and whatnot where they say, well, yeah, probably not a good idea. So again, that's just where you have to make your own choices. And I will tell you this, that the body's pretty resilient. And even though cancer, of course, is a bear within itself, and the body's pretty amazing. And paring it down and really, taking care of the things it needs to take care of. So I wouldn't worry, too much about it. Those tests are done when they need to get done. The doctors are pretty solid about knowing when to order it, knowing how, and knowing why, and that sort of thing. So I wouldn't worry too much. But yeah, prostate health is critical. And there's a lot of things you can do alongside with what your doctor is having you do. You might want to mention them. Get some good lifestyle factors. Avocados are great. They contain a component in them called beta-cytosterol. And the beta-cytosterol really brings good health to the prostate gland. And then also you got different supplements out there that can help: zinc, saw palmetto, pumpkin seed oil. I mean, if you're a big pumpkin seed guy, I love them. I could eat them all the time. And so you hit the pumpkin seeds. They're great for prostate health. And then watching your testosterone levels. I'll tell you, there's some controversy right now about testosterone, which is our primary male hormone. And they're saying that the whole adage is right now is if you keep testosterone levels low, then you'll keep DHT low, which is dihydrotestosterone, which causes the prostate to swell and can lead potentially to cancer. Well, there's some new research out that says keeping your testosterone levels up in more of a moderate range is actually better. So, it's not official research yet, but it's leaning that way. So you got to do your own studying a little bit, and then go to your doctor, and you guys come up with a game plan, because prostate health is important. When you're dealing with cancer, of course, you got to be extremely careful with the cells. But as you do that, knowing that your diet and your lifestyle and stress levels, all of that matters. It plays a role, because the body needs to be clean, as far as your emotional state clean as well, for that good mind-body connection and to promote overall healing. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, It's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
I'd welcome 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. What are your eating habits like? And that's what I want to ask, because so many people struggle with what to eat. You've got your little things that you like to cheat with, whether it's pizza or ice cream or whatever it is. But have you made some radical changes in your overall lifestyle? And have you radically made some changes in the way that you eat? Because you know everything you put inside your body really does become your body. And my granny told me when I was a little kid, she used to say, Asa, you are what you eat. And I find that so interesting because, I didn't really listen. Who listens when you're a little kid? Nobody listens, right? Especially when you're a teenager. But, as I've gone through the years a little bit, I've realized that she was right. And what we put inside of our body really does make up everything. And so our choices matter, and they matter in a big way. So if I can encourage you with anything, it's that to go to that next level in your health, you've got to get your mind right. And you got to decide that you want to get well. You decide you want to go to that next level. You want to transform. And you never want to be the same again. And once you make that decision, literally life will change for you. And you can push and you can grow. And you can go to that next level in your health and with your life. And we want to help you succeed and do that. That's what we're all about. All right, let's go to Sam. Hi, Sam.
What's up, Doc?
No, man, better than yesterday. What's cooking?
Well, I might be kind of an unusual caller for you. Like I say, I love your program. I listen to you maybe an hour or so every few nights. I'm not home from work, and I'm 24 years old. I'm about average body mass for my height and all that. I don't eat enough. I don't think I eat between 1 and 2 meals a day. I get pretty decent exercise. I bike a lot, a few times a week for at least an hour a day. But I don't eat a lot of breakfast, and I kind of just sort of binge eat when I do eat. I ate a lot at one time, and then I find myself drinking a lot at night, and that's just kind of what my lifestyle's been like. And, I haven't had any major health ailments, to be quite frank with you, but, I'm pretty young, and I just kind of wanted to know what you thought my general risk factor is doing that kind of lifestyle.
Well, I mean, for the most part, right now, if you're in your, almost your mid-20s, it's not that big of a deal. But it's never, when I say not that big of a deal, your body's pretty resilient at that age. But, at the same time, it's never good on your liver, to drink that much, obviously. To put large amounts of food in at one time, your body can handle that pretty well. I mean, you want to do like one big meal a day and maybe another, small meal or something. It's not ideal, but your body can handle it. Now, if it's a bunch of junk food all the time, fast food and all that, yeah, I mean, that'll catch up with you. Again, you don't really see cancer and those sorts of things early on. You see those later. So, and it takes about 10 years for a tumor to form in the body. I'm not saying that bad eating habits and what you're doing right now is going to cause all that. I'm just saying that in general, it takes quite a bit of time. That's why you see people really start getting on medications and they're life-changing when they get into their 40s, late 40s and 50s. And because it takes about that long of poor habits over a long period of time to start causing the body to break down enough to cause that kind of thing. So that's just my first thought to you. But why the alcohol every night? You like it? You hooked on it? What's the deal?
I don't know. It's just been a habit of mine kind of ever since I went to college, and it's, I've experienced, losses in friendship, people dying, and I wouldn't consider myself a depressed individual, but it's just been not like a coping mechanism, but just a way to let loose. And I don't find myself puking every night or anything, but one night without at least a couple of drinks is very rare. It's definitely a regular part of what I do, and I kind of feel like if I replace that with decent food, that's going to add years to my life. But I don't see myself making that adjustment in the near future. This has become such a regular part of what I do.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, at the same time, are you happy doing that? Or are you just, if it was healthy for your body, you'd do it all the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's not, man. If you can break those habits now, it's probably going to be better, because what you'll see is, as you get a little bit older, if you keep doing this kind of pattern, it will start making some pretty negative impacts on you later. I mean, this can cause cognitive thinking issues potentially. It can cause real issues with the liver and that kind of thing. Plus, man, I mean, it alters your body chemistry in a negative way. I mean, make you feel good and all that. What if you went without it? What would you deal with? Would you deal with anxiety? Would you feel down and out, like depressed? What would you feel like?
Well, on the very occasional night where I don't have a drink, I actually notice myself feeling clearer, and I know, I'm an educated person, and I definitely know kind of what I'm doing, but from your standpoint, you seem to have a really down to earth view on diet and versus and you have kind of a reasonable outlook, and how long would I be able to sustain this habit, I guess, is what I'm worried about.
I wouldn't sustain it, man. I would just change it. I mean, if anything, cut it down to just drinking on the weekends at first and give yourself a break during the week. Your body can handle that fairly well. A lot of people do that for long periods of time. I'm just, I'm not a big alcohol guy. I just never. When it comes to your health, it's a depressant. So, every time you drink it, you're depressing every system in your body. So that's why you say on the occasional time where you don't drink, you feel clear. Well, that clear is your body getting back into balance. And that's what I would shoot for. And replace that behavior with something else that's a little bit more constructive and make you feel a little bit better too. That's my hope for you.
Did you know you could listen to the AsaRx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the AsaRx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.